How do you want it to feel? Do you want it to feel purposeful? Do you want it to feel really fun? Maybe it's spontaneous. Maybe it's relaxing. I don't think you would choose the word survival, but how do you want this summer to feel? Hello and welcome to the Encourager Podcast, where we talk about real life and real systems so you can joyfully harmonize both home and work. I'm your host, Rebecca Scott. I'm a wife, mom, designer, coach, and lifelong systems thinker. And I help overwhelmed women build simple, sustainable rhythms that actually work for their real lives. Around here, we talk about priorities, pre-decisions, and practical tools that bring peace instead of pressure. Because you don't need more hustle, you need better systems and more grace. Today's episode is a good one. Hello, Encouragers. On this week's podcast, let's talk about summer. You know, it's coming. Sometimes it feels like it's coming like a freight train, but it is a definite mark and a definite season that we have to live through, that we have to work through, that we get to play through. And so I've got a series of episodes here that kind of help us plan for our summer, but not overplan it. So what if summer didn't just happen to you, but you actually felt present inside of it? And you ended the summer feeling like, gosh, that was fun. Man, that was a memorable summer. Or even, wow, I feel energized for the season ahead because my summer set us up for that. You don't need a perfect summer plan, and I would never give that advice on the podcast, but I think you do need to be intentional in a few things. You've got to have your flexible systems during the summer, and you got to make sure they fit for this season's summer, meaning I'm going to have you zoom out and take a look at what this season looks like. Not just this season meaning summer, but the season and the stages and ages of your children, and also where your marriage is at, and also what are the work system going to look like this summer? Are there any projects planned? So we're going to zoom out a little bit, be intentional, and plan some flexible systems so we have an amazing summer. So for the summertime, sometimes we either overplan it, which I'm raising my hand because I've totally done this, and it definitely led to burnout in a season where I really didn't even like summers, or we underplan it and it's complete chaos, and I've done that one too, and I didn't want to do that one again. So we're going to strike a note between the two of them. We're not going to do either this summer. We're going to strike that note right in between. And we're going to do this by planning our 5 systems that I frequently coach on: the me system, food system, family system, home system, and work system, so that you can enjoy your people, you can keep your home running this summer, which is obviously a must, and you're still going to move work forward. You're not going to abandon it, but you'll still be able to move it forward in some capacity. And side note, my busiest season for my business, Rebecca Scott Designs, is the summer. I travel what feels like every weekend. It's not. There's some strategic weekends in there that are off, but that is one of my harvest seasons. So I definitely have to plan ahead so I don't end the summer burnt out. I just want you to think about this. Planning for your summer isn't about control, okay? It's about clarity, reasonable expectations, and alignment with your real life right now. So I have got 5 steps to help you plan for your summer. Not overly plan, but just enough so it's enjoyable. Step number 1, start with the end in mind. What is this? That is the principle of reverse engineering. I've got a couple of podcasts on that. I love that. You're going to think about your summer. I want you to think about this sentence. At the end of this summer, ... What do you want to be able to say? So ask yourself, what do I want to say about this summer? Do I want to say it was calm? Do I want to say it was fun, memorable? Maybe it was productive. Maybe it was relaxing. And then ask yourself, what do I want to be true about our family? Now, not the world's. What do you want to be true about your family? Because sometimes I think the world romanticizes summertime and it just isn't always so nice and neat like that. But what do you want to be true about your family this summer? Maybe it's a lot of time together as a group. Maybe it's individual dates. Like, what do you want to be true about your family at the end of the summer? And then ask yourself, how do I want it to feel? And this is just allowing yourself to have a little moment. How do you want it to feel? Do you want it to feel purposeful? Do you want it to feel really fun? Maybe it's spontaneous. Maybe it's relaxing. I don't think you would choose the word survival, but how do you want this summer to feel? Okay, I want to share. I've had a couple of summers, like I said in the beginning here, where I've done the overplanning and I've done the underplanning. And so I've been able to strike a note in between those in the last couple of summers. But one summer in particular, the one I did not need a nanny. The kids were old enough. They weren't driving yet, but I didn't need a nanny and I wanted to save the expense. And I signed them up for a gross amount of camps. I didn't know it at the time. I mean, I knew like, okay, it feels like a lot because all the applications were due at the same time, but I was like, they actually do work with each other. I was doing the math, like, okay, from 9 to 10, and this was in the afternoon, but it was insane. But I was hoping like to keep them busy so that the afternoons they could chill, but it wasn't a whole day of chilling because that would drive me bananas. I didn't feel like I'd get anything done. So I signed them up for too many camps. And I also chose that year to do the podcast. I chose a goal one year I was going to be interviewed 30 times. I ended up being interviewed 37 times and totally wrecked myself in the middle. Maybe totally wrecked would be an exaggeration. I have a whole podcast on why it didn't work. And that summer, I bet I had 25 of those interviews. So we were over camped and we were over leveraged in time for mom's appointments to be interviewed, and the house had to be quiet while I was being interviewed. So that was over planning, and we would not do that one again. Then I had a summer where I was like, forget this. We're not going to plan anything because I don't want to do that again. And then I didn't meet some goals that I wanted both for family and work because I wasn't intentional enough about, like, we did have a weekend off, but because I wasn't planning anything, we didn't capitalize on the 2 days together. We ended up doing chores around the house, which are good and needed, but we could have been more intentional and gotten those chores done by a certain hour or something, or at least in the morning. So in the afternoon, we could take a trip somewhere, or we could be more intentional about some of those memories. But because it just came upon us and we didn't plan anything, we couldn't do anything. Like, we couldn't get together quick with friends because it was totally last minute. So there is a way to strike a note in between those two examples. Okay, step number 2, use the 5 systems lens. I talk about it all the time on socials and all the time here on the podcast. So I want you to walk through the 5 systems before summer starts and ask yourself a couple of questions. What do you want your me system to look like? The me system is, how do I get a full charge? Your full charge in the summer might look different than the school year. It might be less, it might be more. You might need more of your me system in the summer because everybody is at home. So how are you going to create some margin for your me system, giving yourself a little bit of time to get a full charge? And what does it look like to fill your cup up in the summer months? So for me, I know it's early mornings before everybody wakes up, and I love to run in the summertime. So I log how many miles I'm going to run, what hour I'm going to get up. That is just important for me to get that full charge, is that early morning. Also reading my Bible on my pew outside our house. My me system actually involves my lunch break. Like, taking a lunch break is really important. Now, on the lunch breaks in the summer, I get to have the kids with me, and I love that time together. And then also part of my me system in taking Tuesday afternoons off in the summer, because I do shows that are on the weekends. I still need a day, or at least half a day, to quote unquote call my Sabbath, to just take a break. And so I do that on Tuesday afternoons, and that fills my cup up. Hey, encouragers, hope you're enjoying this episode. We'll be right back after this short break. This episode of The Encourager is brought to you by Rebecca Scott Designs, where we create thoughtfully designed purses and accessories that support your real life, not just your outfit. Every bag is designed with intention, handcrafted right here in South Dakota, and built around the belief that beauty and function should work together. From custom fabrics and linings to leathers, zippers, and really cool features, you get to design a piece that truly fits your life. Visit designyourownbag.com to create your own custom bag and use code ENCOURAGER for $10 off your purchase. Let's talk about your food system in the summer. Look ahead. Okay, how are you going to handle your food system? Everybody's going to look different. Some people want to really plan us out, have all the frozen meals. Some just want to go a little bit more grill-like. Maybe you want to have simpler meals for the summer. Maybe you just want to have rotation meals, like you just have 10 meals that you just put on rotation all summer. I love that. That's super simplified and super doable. For us, our food system in the summer, I really involve my girls. In particular, my son is not home. He is at work, and I know I'll have another daughter at work, but I really like that time to teach them more about food preparation for their families and just cooking and baking. So we actually do a lot in our food system in the summer just so that we can be in the kitchen together. And I have a couple of meals that are on rotation, especially because I head to all the shows. I do a lot of sheet pan meals in the summer, and you could do the sheet pan version with a Blackstone grill. And so I kind of like looking at the food system for the summer because I used to hate it until I planned better for it, and then it wasn't so overwhelming. Now look at your home system for the summer. Okay, guys, if I had to guess what 2 systems take the biggest hit or require the most time in the summer, for my family in particular, it is the home system and it's the work system. Those 2 are the ones where I'm like, we have to take a look at this. So in the home system, your laundry will probably increase because everybody is at home. At least it does for me, and things are messier. I don't know if that's because we farm and ranch or what, but it's just messier laundry in the summer months. And so I want you to find out, how are you going to manage the laundry that's coming in, and that kind of plan? Is it going to be different from the rest of the year? If not, awesome. You can just keep it the same. And then I'm also going to give you permission in your home system is like, what is the minimum standard that we need to operate in our home? Now, your home system is, how do I create a sanctuary? So within your sanctuary, what is like home going to look like for you? Will it be quite as detailed as it is during the school year? Or are you going to let a few things go? So for me, part of that home system to keep it up and running and to still feel like a peaceful sanctuary for me, we always do the triple threat during the lunch hour time. So that means we're going to pick up house. I would do this when they were little too. We'll pick up at noon just so that it's not waited till the end of the day. We pick up what we've been doing. We eat lunch together, and then we have game time together. So the family system is in there as well. It's about 30 minutes of whatever they want to do. Sometimes they want to go swimming. Sometimes they want to go for a walk. Sometimes they want to do a craft. But that triple threat is what I call it. We clean up, we eat, and then we play together, is just a way to keep my home system running smoothly. Now take a look at your family system for the summer. Okay, this one too is a wonderful one that I do want you to plan ahead for. What are going to be some of the memory-making things you're going to do this summer? Are you going to have campfires? Are you going to go see friends or family or vacations? Are you going to play outdoor games? I think when we're intentional about it, we spend less time on our screens because we have created these memories or planned for these things that we want to occur. And so I also want to give permission for this. Not every day has to be magical in the summer. I stopped following anything that told me like, count the summers until your kids are gone, because it depressed me. No, these people are going to be in my life forever. Thank the good Lord. As long as he is willing, that will be the case. And so I'm not going to count the summers. I'm not going to put this pressure on myself to make them super magical, but I am going to allow myself to be intentional about the memories that we're going to make in the summer. And so what does that look like for your sweet families? For me, it's a lot of trips to Aunt Sarah. That's my twin sister. She has a really cool pool in her town. We love to do that. We like to make trips to Papa and Nana's to go work on their garden together. We do a lot of rodeos in the summer. What is your family system going to look like this summer? Keeping in mind that your family system is, are you living the legacy that you also want to leave behind? So you can think about it, but are you actually living it? So how could you reverse engineer it? Start with the summer in mind, right? How can you put that in your current summer here by creating those memories, being really intentional about going to see grandmas, going to see friends, camping in a tent, whatever that looks like. Think about your family system for the summer and being intentional about that. Now your work system, okay, you guys spend some time on this one if you are working from home. If not, it's going to look different. But if you plan ahead for what your work system will look like in the summer, you'll feel much more relaxed towards the end of the summer, or that you're able to do the things that you had planned for and let go of the rest. So ask yourself this question: what is actually doable this summer? What is actually doable? And then I would encourage you to apply the 80% rule. Only do the project, the habit, the goal, whatever it is for work to 80%, because that's still in the excellent zone, but it's not at the 100% that might burn you and your family out during the summertime. So what would 80% of whatever the work thing is look like? And what can you do in advance? Can you do a 30-day push right before summer comes so that you can, in fact, get it done? That's a really fun tactic to do. Or can it wait until the fall if it seems really meaty? Ask yourself what needs to pause. What do I need to delegate? Or maybe what do I need to simplify in my work system before summer starts? And if those systems were like, I don't even know how I'm going to get all of this done, remind yourself of this. Zoom out. Pick one of the systems and work on that one for the summer. Just being intentional on one of the systems will change how you end the summer. Step number 3, look at your calendar, which I know you're already going to do. Plan for your memory. So look ahead to see, when are the trips going to be in there? Are there any camps for the kids? Are there busy weeks that you just need to know, like, okay, hey, this is a busy week and I do need to have some help outside of this. And then within looking at your calendar and planning these things, I want you to layer in your memory moments. Maybe it's inviting a friend with you on vacation. Maybe it's packing notes in their lunchboxes for camp. Just how could you make the experiences of camp 1% more memorable? Just a teeny tiny bit more memorable for your family and for yourself. I also have the bucket list. It's a free resource available on the encouragerpodcast.com. It's really fun to involve your kids with that. Print it out. Ask the kids, what do you guys want to make sure happens this summer? And then you can reverse engineer, put it on the calendar, and figure out how it's going to happen. Step number 4, adjust your expectations. I should have started with that one, right? Summer is not the normal routine. Okay, so stop expecting it to be. It's going to be slightly different, but you can still do your systems and they can still be flexible when you're planning ahead with those systems that we already talked about. Okay, so some examples of how summer is not going to be a normal routine is laundry. How are you going to do that? Could the kids help? What is food going to look like? What are chores going to look like in the summer? And what is work going to look like? Are you going to have fewer priorities? There are going to be some times where you need deeper focus, like take a look ahead so that you can realistically set up your summer. Ask yourself, where am I holding myself to a standard that doesn't fit the season? And remember, summer does not have to look like the rest of the year because it clearly doesn't. So stop expecting it to, or expecting yourself to get everything done and everything to run smoothly, because it just might set you up for failure. And I do not want that. Step number 5. Okay, this one, I just need to throw it out there because I work from home. I have 4 kiddos. Boredom comes up a lot. And so what we have done is we just made a simple fridge list. I was not allowed when I was growing up to say I was bored. I kid you not. If Sarah and I came to my mom and said we were bored, she would assign us chores immediately. And we had to do the chores. So it only took about a week of her saying that and following through before Sarah and I were like, we're never telling my mom I'm bored again. And to this day, I rarely say I'm bored. I'm not bored for one, but I've always learned like just find something to do. So we just put a fridge list up and it just has some outside ideas on there, what they could do. I put some creative stuff on there about what they could do. They could sew, work on their 4-H projects. I also on this fridge list have some simple chores like, okay, but if you are bored, you can do the windows or you can vacuum or you can go pull weeds. But this list is my go-to so that when they think they're going to ask me they're bored, I'm like, I just point to the fridge, like go look at the list. And then it helps them have some ideas of what to do instead of telling me that they're bored. Some ideas you could put on there is like build a fort, water play. They could go for a bike ride. They could draw or write a story. My girls in particular love that. They could clean out one drawer. They could make a snack, especially if they like cooking and baking, as long as they pick up after themselves. You could totally do that. So just keep this list simple and keep it visible so everybody can see it. So here's what I want you to do, encouragers. Remember, I try to give you something you can do within the first 10 minutes of listening to the podcast, and that is this. Take a look at your summer and visualize what you want it to look like. Okay? Ask yourself those questions at the beginning of the podcast here. And then I want you to zoom out and take a look at your 5 systems and what's going to adjust this summer while you are in summer mode. And if the 5 systems is overwhelming for you, just pick 1 or 2 of them. Just be intentional about 1 or 2 of the systems for the summer, and that will shift how you think about your summers. Until next time, encouragers, we've got this because he's got us. If this podcast has encouraged you or helped you in any way, I'd be so grateful if you'd subscribe and leave a 5-star review. It truly helps more women find these conversations. And if you're listening thinking, I don't need more motivation, I need someone to help me figure out my actual life, that's exactly what I do. Through Encourager Academy and one-on-one coaching, I help women build personalized systems for their home, work, and life rhythms. No cookie-cutter routines, but structures that fit your unique personality, your season, and your capacity. You can explore the Academy or book a free discovery call at theencouragerpodcast.com. Let's take your next small step forward together.